Your baby isn't being dramatic. The second you walk out that door, their brain fires the exact same survival alarm that kept our ancestors alive 200,000 years ago. And honestly, it's working exactly the way it should. Most parents treat separation anxiety like a phase, something to push through, a problem that needs fixing. But when your baby loses it, the moment you leave the room, that's not a sign something went wrong. It's actually the opposite. Back up for a second. Before cribs, nurseries, baby monitors, there was just a baby, in the grass, in the dark, surrounded by things that could eat it. For most of human history, a baby left alone was a baby in genuine danger. So over hundreds of thousands of years, evolution installed something. A loud, persistent alarm that fires the moment a caregiver disappears. That alarm is still running in your baby right now. Researchers call this the evolutionary mismatch. Your baby's brain was built for a world where being alone meant real danger. But you're not leaving them in the grass. You're walking to the kitchen for a glass of water. Their brain doesn't know that yet. Here's the thing though, the crying doesn't start right away. Most newborns, if you put them down and walk away, won't even notice. Not because they don't care about you. It's because of something they're missing, object permanence. Object permanence is the understanding that things still exist when you can't see them. You know the mug on your counter is still there even when you're in another room. Your baby doesn't know this. To a young infant, out of sight means out of existence. When you leave, from their perspective, you stop being real. Jean Piaget, who spent decades figuring out how babies think, originally put this skill at around 8 or 9 months. Later research pushed it back further. Eye tracking and looking time experiments found hints of it as early as 4 to 6 months. The understanding forms before babies can act on it. The motor skills to actually search for you just haven't caught up. So somewhere between 4 and 8 months, something shifts. Your baby is starting to grasp that you exist when they can't see you. And that realization comes with a catch. If you exist when you're gone, you could stay gone. That thought, even as a wordless animal feeling, is terrifying. That's when separation anxiety kicks in for real. Mary Ainsworth figured out exactly how this plays out. In 1970, she ran what's become one of the most replicated experiments in developmental psychology. She called it the strange situation. A mother and her baby come into a room. A stranger enters. The mother leaves. The researchers watch. She ran this with 100 infants, all between 9 and 18 months old. 3 groups showed up in the data. About 70% were securely attached. When mom left, they cried. Sometimes a lot. When she came back, they settled fast. Back to exploring the room within minutes. Upset, yes, but trusting. 15% were avoidant. Barely reacted when mom left. Barely reacted when she came back. Looked completely fine. But here's the part that gets me every time. Researchers measured their heart rates and their cortisol. Those babies were just as stressed as the ones openly crying. They'd learned that showing need didn't bring help, so they stopped showing it. The last 15% were resistant. Devastated when mom left, impossible to comfort when she returned. Even being held didn't settle them. Stuck on alarm. Here's what changes everything. The babies showing the most visible distress. The loud, sobbing, arms-reaching ones. We're almost all in the secure group. That cry isn't panic. It's trust. It's your baby saying, I know you're real, I know you matter, and I'm using everything I've got to bring you back. A baby who doesn't cry when you leave hasn't moved past separation anxiety. They may just never have built the attachment that makes your absence feel like something worth crying about. So what's actually happening in their body when you walk out? Their brain registers your absence as a threat. The amygdala fires. Within minutes, cortisol starts climbing. Stanford researchers and multiple university labs have confirmed this. Even short separations from a primary caregiver spike infant cortisol in measurable ways. Cortisol isn't bad in small doses. It's normal. But when it stays elevated, when separation drags on without repair, it starts changing things. The hippocampus is especially sensitive to sustained cortisol in infancy. Across dozens of studies, chronic and unresponsive separation in early life showed up later in things like stress regulation and learning. That's a real finding. And it's one of the reasons the first 2 years matter so much. But chronic is the operative word. A short, predictable separation. You leave, you come back, you comfort them. Isn't damaging. It's training their nervous system. Each return proves something their brain is still learning to believe. You come back. Do that enough times and the alarm actually gets quieter. This is what John Bowlby was getting at back in the 1950s. He was the British psychiatrist who built the foundation of what we now call attachment theory. Bowlby watched infants separated from their parents and kept noticing the same thing. Something that seemed obvious, but nobody had studied. Babies will do anything to stay near the person they're attached to. Crying, clinging, searching, following. He argued these weren't learned behaviors. They were instincts, hardwired in by evolution because staying close to a caregiver is literally what kept infants alive. That's the frame for everything. Every single cry at the door, every arms-reaching moment when you set them down. It's the attachment system doing exactly its job. One thing most parents never hear about, the sneaking out strategy. You know how it goes. Baby is distracted, you inch toward the door, hold your breath, make a break for it. Works great. For about 30 seconds. Researchers at Zero TO3 and pediatric psychology programs have looked at this pretty carefully. Sneaking out tends to make things worse over time. Not because you don't get out the door, but because your baby learns that you can vanish mid-calm moment without any warning. Now they have to stay on guard. The anxiety you were trying to skip around gets bigger. What actually works is a goodbye ritual. Short, same every time. A phrase, a hug, a wave. Mommy's leaving, mommy's coming back. And then you actually go. Don't linger. Don't come back for one more hug. Make it quick and follow through. It feels rough when your baby is wailing at the closed door. But you're teaching them something their nervous system will spend the next 2 years learning. That separation is survivable. And that you come back. Why does this all peak between 8 and 18 months rather than when babies are tinier and completely helpless? That's one of the slightly cruel ironies here. Separation anxiety gets loudest exactly when babies start getting more capable. Crawling, pulling up, moving toward things they want. But they also have just enough object permanence to understand you can go somewhere they can't follow. They feel the threat. They just don't have the emotional equipment to handle it yet. That takes years. Object permanence is the foundation. Language helps. Once they can say, "Mama, come back," the world gets a little more manageable. Memory helps too. Around 2.5, most kids can hold that idea without melting down. She went to work. She'll be back at dinner. That's a genuinely real cognitive leap. They're building a mental model of time, of permanence, of you. We don't fully understand all of it, though. Researchers still argue over why some babies bounce back from separations quickly while others take much longer. Temperament plays a role. Some kids are just wired more sensitive. Past experience matters. The honest answer is that it varies, and there isn't one clean explanation. So practically, what does any of this mean at 3 in the morning when you're trying to put your 7-month-old down? Your baby crying when you leave isn't a failure. It means they know you exist, trust that you matter, and feel secure enough to demand your return. That cry is actually a milestone. Keep the goodbye ritual short and the same. Before they understand the words, the pattern alone tells them what's coming. Predictability is what safety feels like to an infant brain, and peekaboo. After about 18 months. Isn't just a game. It's practice. Every time you hide your face and reappear, you're running the same proof. You always come back. If you felt guilty leaving a crying baby with a caregiver so you could work, or shop, or just take a shower, stop. The guilt makes sense. The harm doesn't hold up. What your baby needs is a parent who returns, not one who never leaves. Every single reunion adds to something they're quietly building. Your baby's cry when you leave is 200,000 years of evolution doing its job. It's not manipulation. It's the most honest signal a human being can send. I love you. I need you. Please don't go. And every time you walk back through that door, you answer it. Now. What happens inside a baby's brain the moment they first recognize your face? That one is even wilder.